So, like, not only am I worried about our team, but, like, based on what he's saying, like, just like he has a third guy looking at what they're doing.
I got it.
You're studying the dynamics of, like, okay, the best player on the other team walks over to the coach. You're studying their body language. Like, does the player agree with what the coach is saying? You know, does the coach agree? Then you're studying, like, the assistant coach who has the scout, his body language when he comes up and makes a suggestion to the head coach. You can tell if, like, the head coach is listening and doing what he wants to do versus what the head coach wants to do.
This is the
and
best
so, like,
part
when
of
he
it for
started
me,
saying that,
strategy,
like, when I started breaking down all the different,
tactics,
like, and can you break those many relationships in the game to be able to give yourself an advantage? At the same time, can you strengthen the ones that you have, you know, not only in game, but over the course of a season?
For those of y'all that follow college football, a few years back, there was this big scandal with the University of Michigan. And the scandal was that they had coaches that were looking at the other coaches on the other teams to tell them what they were doing. And obviously there was more details around it. I think the guy dressed up and act like he was a coach and snuck on the sideline, blah, 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 blah. But it led to this massive conversation around cheating in sports. Should coaches spy on other coaches? And for those of us that have actually coached, for those of us that have been involved in sport at a deep level, we aren't just watching it from the outside. We've actually done this. This is what we do. There's no such thing as spying in coaching in games. It's called scouting. And when you are a scout, it is your job to look at everything that is going on to give your team an advantage, whether that's on tape or whether that is in person. And Joe Mazzulla is literally telling you that his staff does the exact same thing that was going on at the University of Michigan. But is there going to be an uproar about this? No. Why? Because everything they're doing is perfectly legal and moral. This is what coaching is. And in this video, I'm really going to break down how the Boston Celtics truly spy on other teams, and how if you are a team that's playing them, how you can possibly protect yourself, and how this leads to an advantage for them, which is why they have an NBA championship under Joe Mazzulla, and why other teams that don't put in this much effort, don't think about the game at this level, don't care about the attention to detail like they do, haven't won. But before I do that, I need y'all to click like. I need y'all to click share. I need y'all to click subscribe. I need you to write in the comments what you would like me to talk about or break down next. And most importantly, I need you to watch this video all the way to the end.
My ducks, my swans, welcome to the pond.
My name is Coach Duck from Group 82 Basketball, and right here we got Joe Mazzulla revealing how the Boston Celtics spy on other NBA teams. Number one, how scouting works in the NBA. So you heard Coach Mazzulla talk about whichever assistant coach has a scout, he has one of his coaches pay attention to that coach and his body language and his interpersonal interactions with the head coach to see if the head coach is accepting the lead scout's ideas or if he's rejecting. What does that mean? When the NBA schedule comes out, the head coach sits down with all his assistant coaches, and if he has an advanced scout or whoever it is that he has that's going to be a part of the scouting staff, and they divvy up the games to each coach, and it is their responsibility to fully scout that team. The sets they're running, the personnel reports, what acquisitions they might have made, all the advanced analytics that make sense for what they are trying to do, any interpersonal details they might have. Did you used to coach with the coaches on that coaching staff so you know their system and what they run? Did you used to coach some of the players on that team so you know their tendencies? These are all the things that you factor in when you are divvying up the scouts to your staff. There's 82 games in the NBA season. Let's say you got 4 assistants, so roughly you're gonna have 20 games each. And in those scouts, what happens is when we're about to play that team, that assistant coach has to go in front of the head coach, has to go in front of the team. He has his film that's been broken down with the video coordinator who he's been working with, the assistant video coordinator, and he goes through whatever they want to emphasize based on their offensive system they run and their defensive system they run so they can possibly win the game. That is your scout. And this happens at every level. This just doesn't happen in the NBA. This happens in college. This happens in high school. Now it's a little bit different at those levels, so we're going to stay focused on the NBA. And how do you know whose scout it is? Well, during the game, it's the assistant coach that's talking the most. It's the assistant coach that usually has a scout report in the paper. It's the assistant coach that usually is the most demonstrative. Did I say that right? Demonstrative. It's the assistant coach that's usually the most angry, that has the most emotion invested because this is his scout and he wants to win that game. So the fact that Joe Mazzulla and his staff have someone that is watching them in order to give them intel, that's just intelligent coaching. That's just smart scouting. You're scouting the scouts. And this is something I used to do when I used to advance scout at the high school level or at the college level or the AAU level, or when people in the NBA have asked me to help them with things, because you can get those little tiny details that can give your team an advantage. So it's dope that the Boston Celtics actually do this, and more teams need to adopt this. Number 2, psychological warfare beats strategy every single time. I was just having a conversation with one of my homeboys that I've trained with. He's been playing in the Big Three. He's a part of the NBA assistant coaching program. We're having a conversation tonight, and we were talking about how when it comes to X's and O's inside of basketball, everybody runs good stuff for the most part. And when you are coaching NBA players, there's a 24-second shot clock. So they got 8 seconds to get across half court. Once they do that, whatever set that they call or you call, they're going to go through that. They're going to go through the first read, they're going to go to the second read, and if you're lucky, they might get to the third read. After that, it's going to be 9 seconds left on that shot clock. Whoever has the ball, he's going to be looking to create. More likely than not, he's going to call for a ball screen, and that's the shot that you're going to get. So it's not so much your X's and O's strategy that's going to defeat a team. Yeah, your after timeouts, your side out of bounds, your baseline out of bounds, we can steal points there. That stuff comes down to coaching. That's great X's and O's strategy. But your base offense that you're running, your transition offense that you're running, that stuff is the same things that everybody's been running in the NBA for a very long time. NBA is a copycat league. It's just different iterations of what's hot right now. What coaching truly is, what I consider 70% of what coaching truly is the psychological relationships that you have with the players. It's the spiritual relationship you have with the players. It's the emotional relationship that you have with the players. And when you're able to have that with your team, where they know that you care because you have taken time to get to know them as men and you care about them as people, they're going to listen to everything that you say. And they're at least going to give it a go out of respect for you. And when you are a coach, it is your responsibility inside of the game to use that game pressure to your advantage. When we go on a 10-0 run, it is your responsibility as a coach to make sure that run gets to 12-0, 14-0, whatever, to make that other coach call a timeout, berate his team, make the lead assistant who has the scout go crazy, and that psychological pressure of, oh my goodness, we about to lose this game, everybody's on my back, I don't want to hear what everybody got to say. Their team is feeling that. You need their best players to feel that while your players are feeling confident. You have to use game pressure to your advantage. You have to find ways to psychologically break those 5 guys down that are on the floor. That doesn't mean playing dirty. That doesn't mean being immoral. That doesn't mean playing lowbrow basketball. That means finding ways to have the game, the natural flow of the game, impact the other team. And when you're doing things like paying attention to the scouts, paying attention to the coaches, seeing how they're interacting with each other, that means you're placing an emphasis on the psychological warfare, and that wins you a lot more games than X's and O's will. Number 3, how to prevent from being spied on. This is something that I think a lot of coaches don't pay attention to. Inside of football, they know how to prevent themselves from being spied on. In baseball, they definitely know how to prevent themselves from being spied on, because this is something that's been going on for a very long time. In basketball, this is something I think a lot of coaches don't even realize, they don't even do on their own, let alone playing defense on it. The first thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that your team has a stoic demeanor. There's going to be ups and downs in a basketball game. Mistakes are going to be made, and every team takes on the personality of their head coach. So if you are a head coach that's out here screaming and yelling and falling on the floor and crying to the refs every time something happens, you're going to see the players act the exact same way. Y'all think I'm lying? Pay attention this year in the basketball games. All the coaches that's out here acting like children, how do their players act? If you are a coach that has a stoic demeanor, you are a coach that's respectful to the referees, you're a coach that's able to take the punches of game pressure and still able to execute at a high level, that's how your team's going to be. So even when a team goes on a 10-0 run and you're on the road and it's 18,000 people, they're going absolutely insane inside of an arena. It's 110 decibels ringing off in your ear. Your team is still locked in and connected together. So the other team down there, they can't get any reads on who's upset and who's not. There's no reason for us to act like children down here. Another way that you can protect yourself, you need to be paying attention to them. Y'all got 15 coaches that sit behind y'all. You got all them player development coaches, you got analytics guys, you got video guys. Everybody inside of a timeout is not engaged in that timeout. That's just how basketball is. The people who are usually engaged inside of a basketball timeout are the 5 guys who are going inside the game, the head coach, maybe the assistant whose scout it is, and maybe 1 or 2 guys who know they're going to sub in. Everyone else is talking to each other and doing doing bottle flips and eating candy and laughing and joking. What y'all need to be doing is forming a wall and put them towels up and make sure they can't see what's going on down there. If I was y'all, I would be getting a poster board and I'd have the team social media on there to make it look really cool. And we be holding that up. You're not about to look down here and see what we got going on in any way, shape, or form. Good teams are always going to look for an advantage. Good coaches are always going to try to find a way to make sure that their team has the upper hand. It is your responsibility as the NBA head coach to take that advantage away. If you're on Instagram, click that link up top. You on YouTube, click that link in the box. I'm out the pond. Y'all stay true.